138 plus decibels at 6 feet. If you've ever been to an air show, when a fighter jet goes over, that's about 118 decibels. For every 10 decibels, you've doubled sound pressure. So that's quite potent. We have to wear double hearing protection just to protect ourselves being near it at that point. Any questions? Right, let's head into the shots.
Do they ever turn it up to full volume? And
Well, we don't have everything
right.
playing at this point. When we do, pulling out all the stops is actually an organ term. It's
Right.
turning everything on. You do it if the hall is at capacity, otherwise it can be a lot.
I'm sure the building rumbles, right?
Yeah, even right now the building's
Right,
rumbling
yeah.
at 65%.
Yeah.
So when we brought the 64-foot up to proper wind pressure the first time, we knocked loose a few terracotta tiles. Any non-load bearing wall in the building was made out of terracotta brick. So about 5 of them came tumbling down when we finally got that. We said, okay, it's settling after 90 some odd years. Come on in this way, we'll show you what it takes to bring the instrument back to life. Welcome to the organ shop. Now, this was not designed to be an organ shop. This was designed to be the hall's scenic shop. The large steel doors at the other end open right out to the stage house. They envisioned you building your sets in here, launching them into the fly system. However, when Midmer-Losh arrived, they had to have a place to build the instrument, and this became the organ shop, and has lived as such ever since. Now, inside a pipe organ, you have 3 main materials: wood, metal, and leather. The wood and metal will hold up decently well with time. The leather, however, being a skin, does have a life expectancy. Now, some of what you heard out of the right stage chamber today is still on original leather after 96 years, but it's a matter of when, not if, that's going to give way. So my colleague's job is taking as much of the instrument down from behind the walls of the building as possible, bringing it all here at the shop, taking everything apart, cleaning off all the old leather, applying new leather. As you can see, Adam's now repairing different pneumatics inside the organ here. Bring this all back to this side of the shop, testing out a winding electrical system, bring it back up past a cobweb of 96 years of lighting, HVAC, fire alarm, fire suppression, life safety systems, internet, data, telephone, and not disturbing them because we're an active building. And hope to God you do it right on the first go around, or you're dangling like a fish on a hook 30 feet in the air. So it's this massive ballet of making all this work together. Now, inside a pipe organ, there are 2 styles of pipes: flues, which are nothing more than glorified whistles, and reeds. Now, reeds, if you've ever taken apart a little party horn and you look inside it, you're going to see a buzzing plastic reed. It looks really similar to this. Or this is very similar to how a clarinet or saxophone reed functions. Now, without its resonator, it's not very impressive. Add the resonator, big difference in sound. So reed pipes allow us to be a lot louder, or a lot more boisterous, with less wind required. So that's how we get a lot of the bolder, brassier sounds on the instrument. When the organist is playing, they're completing an electrical circuit to an electromagnet. When that magnet energizes, it opens a tiny valve, and then through a series of pneumatic movements inside the chest, the valve beneath the pipe is opened and the pipe plays. The reason for so much movement, it's almost impossible to outplay the instrument. This is also an example of the 4 families of tone on the organ: strings, a stopped flute, and an open flute, diapason, which is the core tone unique to the pipe organ, and reeds. And from those 4 families of sound, we get the 449 voices on this instrument. Any questions? If you want to just poke your head inside the door here, you can see a little bit of the bottom of this chamber. Again, if what you see here interests you, we encourage you to come back for that curator's tour and see inside 2 of these chambers. For the purpose of the instrument, we're assuming until we have to re-leather it, probably about 50, 60 years, but some of the glue in here is the same thing that would have been used 100 years ago. It's still working fine.
This is my I'm just curious.
And the air is provided through fans, blowers.
7 centrifugal force fans or blowers in the lower levels of the building. They have a combined horsepower of 635 horsepower and produce 36,000
Like how
cubic
big
feet
are
of
they?
air.
Like the size of this table?
I can give you an idea. I have a picture over here.
Oh yeah.
That blower motor
Yeah, sure. There you go.
is about this large and about up to this height on me.
Is that a Wemco?
It's a Westinghouse.
Westinghouse.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
It was funny because we had a professional motor company come out here. I said, "Oh, those are the old DC blowers." They said, "Oh, they're not DC." Do me a favor, look closer. Jesus God, they're DC motors. I said, "Yeah, I know what I'm talking about."
Yeah. Absolutely. Wound and everything.
The boxes were phones.
Do they still use the old ductwork, or that's all been replaced?
This part, no, the old
The
ductwork is
ductwork's
much better than anything we do today.
Wow.
So
And that's
this is what the building looked like before it was modified. There's about 37,000 people in that picture.
Now, is that fire code at the time? Are you allowed to put that many people in the building?
Yeah.
But are you?
The building was
yeah.
inherently fireproofed.
Right.
They did have more than enough egress because you can see
Right.
how many doors you had there.
Yeah.
You could get out all those portals. Everyone hears the word vomitory and they think it was something in Roman times where people
Yeah,
went to
yeah,
puke.
yeah.
But actually, a vomitory is when it's ejecting the arena. So
Oh,
all
okay.
of those portals are referred to as voms.
Wow. All right. I didn't know that.
Follow me this way. We'll head downstairs. We're gonna head this way.
Thank you.
Ma'am.
oh, okay. Sorry.
That's all right. It's going to follow the same basic layout: choir, great, swell, and solo. And they have specific purposes. Choir is meant to accompany a choir. Our choir division is right here. Great, the organ's core tone, diapasons and mixtures. The great division is the lower right-hand portion of the right stage chamber. Swell is a division of dynamic contrast. You may have noticed lighting changes as we were playing. That's how we control volume. We've just left the lights, work lights on in the chambers, and what you're seeing, these large wooden Venetian or vertical blinds that open and close to either let the sound out or keep it in. And the swell division is the left stage chamber. Solo, exactly what it sounds like, potent solo voices to carry out over the rest of the instrument. The solo division is the upper right-hand portion of the right stage chamber. Now here's where we get a little different. Fanfare, a blaze of trumpets. Fanfare division is the ceiling on this side. Echo, soft and ethereal, is the ceiling division on this side. And finally, bombard or gallery is a home for the 4 gallery organs directly beneath the ceiling chambers. Now, if 7 keyboards were not enough, there's another keyboard that the organist plays with their feet. If 8 keyboards were not enough, we actually have 11. The bottom 2 manuals and the pedal board are equipped with what we call second touch. So playing with a normal key weight, you're engaging one set of contacts. Pushing a little harder, the key dips down 1/4 of an inch. That gives you access to a whole new set of sounds. So now playing across 7 manuals, playing pedal point with your feet, making volume adjustments with the swell shoes. If that's not enough of an all-body exercise, now you have to tell the organ what instruments you would like it to play, and that's done with the stop tabs. There are 1,235 of them. Yes, we counted. So that's a bit much when you're trying to play a concert and trying to reach out and find a needle in a haystack. You can see I'm aiming for 1, but I'm hitting 2. So the way that's governed is what we call a combination action. It's a memory system for the organist. And the organist is happy with what they've set up. They hold in the setter piston here, and that told the system in the basement that I'm ready to program you. And then by hitting another piston in conjunction with that, you locked your setting into place, hit that piston during the recital, 1,235 stop tabs go to their preset location. But they had to design the system intelligently. If you threw voltage at all these magnets, it's about 650 amps. So the organ's generator only produced 150. So they designed a system that could monitor 1,235 stop tabs, and it only applied voltage if it was necessary to change. And I say that because it forms a logic gate 13 years before ENIAC, the world's first computer. They didn't think they were designing a computer, but in reality that's what they achieved here. No vacuum tubes, no diodes, no integrated circuits, all pneumatic technology. It's never the world's most reliable system because they ran a steam line right next to the system as soon as it was built. And with tight-fitting wooden traces, when you hit that with steam, they swell and lock. So it was not reliable. It was disconnected in 34 and then soaked in 6 feet of salt water in 44. So for 85 years, this is the world's largest manually registered instrument until 2019, when we restored combination action to the instrument. And again, this may not seem like much, but for an organist, this is game-changing. The other part of it is you had one level, so if I set up for a recital, you wouldn't want to hear me. I can accompany a church choir. That's about the extent of my organ skills. I'm a vocalist by trade. But if I set all this up and Dylan came in the next day to program for his recital, you better hope I took copious notes on the location of 1,235 switches about 100 times. Now we give every organist a folder. In that folder, they have 50 levels. They can program every piston you see here 50 times before they use up their level. And then they shout up to the organ shop. We come down here with an iPad, give them a new folder. They're off to the races again. So much more flexible, also extremely cost-saving. There was enough copper wire in this instrument to wrap around the circumference of the Earth twice. So just the cost of copper alone would add another $5 million to the $16 million price tag.
Wow.
Any questions?
So would there ever be like an organist assistant? Like if he's doing this, maybe somebody else is hitting buttons somewhere else?
Sometimes we do that. It can be helpful if it's your first time on the instrument. You might want to make changes while you're playing. If we've just done a huge update to new things coming online, there's also that level of comfort there, because the organists usually only get about 3 hours of rehearsal time to prep for this. So.
I thought I read something in the program about the delay, like how long it is from hitting the note to when you hear it.
It is microseconds, but it takes time for the sound to reach you. So I'll try. You can probably get an idea of it here.
Yeah. Wow.
So you're hitting my clap, hitting those corners and coming back at all different times because we're blocked by a portion of the bowl here. If you're at the back in the upper level and you clap at the center, you'll hear your clap and then it'll come back to you twice on either side of you.
So do they make up for that somehow, like the differential?
You just are doing
it's
is
just
correct, and it blends right out there. But here, it's the worst seat in the house.
I could imagine.
Yeah.